RacerX Motocross Show on AlliedSports.com. Jason Wygand here from Glen Helen Raceway in San Bernardino, California, the host site of the opening round of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Racing Motocross Championship. Today we're going to highlight our 450 class. It was a Donnybrook. Both motos were spectacular today. Ryan Villapoto emerges with both moto victories, but a lot of unanswered questions as we head to Hangtown next week in Northern California. But the fans here in SoCal, they were treated to quite a show as Villapoto had to work his way through traffic to try to get those moto wins. Let's give you the highlights first from moto number 1.
Aaron Norwell down here for the opening 450 moto of the season. Now, Chad Reed and Michael Essie showed the fastest time in practice, and even though Ryan Villapoto was a little bit off the pace, we know he can run with those guys. Let's check it out and see who gets the opening hole shot of the season.
Thanks, Aaron. Want to put any money on the 800 to get the opening hole shot of the season? Reed, Millsaps, all these guys trying to stay cool in the hot desert sun. Parade lap underway. This track is super rough, although a little bit different this time because the 450's racing before the 250's for the first time ever. And look who's out front early on. It's Michael Essie on the inside and Mike Brown on the outside. Brown, who now races off-road for KTM, battling with Alessi, and Alessi says, I'm the one that's supposed to take the hole shots here, Mike. So this Mike, Alessi tries to check out Brown in second. You got Andrew Short in third. Nowhere to be seen is Chad Reed, who is well outside of the top 10. So one of the Suzuki's, though, trying to take advantage of the typical good start. Alessi begins to pull away from the rest of the pack. Josh Grant slides into the number 2 spot early on. Villapoto starting about 5th, working his way up into the number 3 position as Alessi goes to work out front. And Josh Grant, who has said before, he does not fear Alessi whatsoever. He expects to try to run him down late in the motos. Well, he was in the number 2 spot with an opportunity to do that. And then Alessi got stuck in a rut, straight up stuffed the bike, and goes from 1st to 3rd, putting Grant in the lead, Villapoto 2nd, and there's Alessi battling with Short for the number 3 position. Grant and Villapoto went back and forth. Villapoto would make a run at Grant. It looked like he was going to try to make a pass, and then Grant would pull back away. And it went that way until there were about 8 minutes left in the 30-minute moto, and then Villapoto caught Grant again. And the culprit, Grant lost his rear brakes, and on this racetrack, with this steep downhills, well, that's probably about the worst time to have that happen. Without the rear brakes, Grant had a tough time fighting Villapoto off, although on the track this rough, by picking some good lines, he was able to hold Villapoto at bay for a little while. But eventually, the number 2 would overwhelm the 33. Villapoto would take over the lead. There's Villapoto into the number 1 spot, steering the bike with the throttle in his classic style. Be it on a 250 or a 450, he's ultra comfortable, and he was on his way to doing what only Ricky Carmichael could do. Win the first 3 championships he competed for in the 250 class, and then win the first moto ever that he competed in the big class. Hey, how about that Chad Reed guy? Chewing his way through the pack, had to battle with Davey Millsaps for a little while for 5th, then catches Andrew Short for 4th, and then a little battle as well. Reed would eventually make the pass on Short, then immediately Short would pay him back. Reed made a mistake. Short got back into that number 4 position, but Reed would pass him one more time and establish himself as the number 4 guy in the moto. Villapoto out front, cruising. He's going to win his first ever moto on a 450 outdoors. Josh Grant takes a solid 2nd, and Mike Alessi, after getting stuck, ends up in 3rd with Reed and Short in the top 5. We'll be back after this, and we'll send it down to Aaron for a second moto track report. Stay tuned.
For the start of the 450 moto number 2. Now, I'd previously mentioned that Ryan Villapoto may have been off the pace in practice, but clearly he showed enough speed to take the win in moto number 1. Now, let's not forget about Chad Reed. He had a 15th place start and came all the way back up to 4th. So if he gets a good start this time, we're more likely to see him running up the front.
Moto 2, Alessi was very upset over letting that hole shot get away when he got stuck in a rut while leading in Moto 1. So Moto 2, of course, Lightning Mike is going to go out and capture his 2nd MotorcycleUSA.com hole shot award of the day. Alessi is out front. Grant soon slides into the number 2 position. A better start this time for Reed, and a worse start this time for Villopoto. But don't worry, Villopoto would dig down awfully deep to make those positions up. You also had the Honda guys of Short and Millsaps toward the front of the pack. In the front of the pack was soon only one rider, Alessi, on fire in this one. He had a little lead in Moto 1, but a much bigger lead in Moto 2, and he didn't get stuck this time. We noticed covering the TV show that he was actually riding with a Camelback drink system in Moto 1. He ditched that. He rolled up his sleeves, as you can see on his jersey, went to work, and pulled a huge gap on Grant, Villopoto, and Reed, who were soon battling for second, third, and fourth. The Villopoto-Reed battle is highly anticipated here in AMA Pro Motocross. Villopoto would make a pass on Reed. Reed would stick with him. Then they would catch Grant. Villopoto would get around Grant and then gap Reed a bit while Grant and Reed battled for the number 3 position. By the time Villopoto was in the number 2 spot, Alessi had built up a 15-second lead, and it looked to be over. But Villopoto put the hammer down, and Alessi started making big mistakes. And suddenly the lead was down to 6 seconds, 2 seconds, and then 0 seconds. And the old amateur rivals, the old 250 class rivals, renewing it here in the 450 division, it was on. And Villopoto made the pass on Alessi. Alessi did what he could to try to stay with Villopoto. With only 3 laps remaining in the race, Villopoto put the hammer down and sailed to his second moto victory on the day. Alessi would take second. Reed would take third. How about that? Ricky Carmichael wins 3 straight titles in the small bore class and goes 1-1 at Glen Helen in his big bike debut. Same thing for Ryan Villopoto. Let's go to the post-race press conference.
Yeah, it feels good. I wanted to see where I was at coming into this round, and it's my hometown track, so I felt really comfortable in practice today, and just for some reason everything clicked, and from then on I knew I had to get a good start, and I could run up there with those guys. It was tough, riding the 450. It's totally different than riding lights bike, hanging out on the lights bike, and for the 450 you just got to be like more consistent and a lot of throttle control, and I mean if we were the second moto, it would even be worse. So I don't know. I felt good. My bike was good this weekend, and we're here.
Yeah, it's only the beginning, like I said, and it's a good way to start off in second. We still got 11 more races to go, 22 motos, so we'll focus on ourselves and what we're doing, and do the best that I can. And like I said, second moto I was riding great, and I saw him coming, but I rode my own race, and it wasn't going to push over my head, so I stayed in my groove. Yeah, it's just another year. It's the same guys, just a different year, bigger class. Realistically, it's gonna go all the way down to the end. It's gonna be a fight.
Yeah, I kind of knew where he was. I pay attention to him when he's out front, and I just kept doing the laps that I was doing. Not riding over my head, but and just not letting him. Letting myself say, oh well, he's too far away. I can't catch him. Just kept doing what I was doing, and I ended up catching him pretty quick, and was able to get by him and pull over the gap. It's a long season, so the win was great. Like I said earlier, that you can definitely lose it in this first one, but you can't win it. So the win's great. I'll take it, and his next 2 rounds before the break, just get through them, and I think things are going to be good. I think we got some little things to work on, and we'll come out at Hangtown and Texas strong.
Well, this was only a small sliver of the action. We'll be racing again at Hangtown next Saturday. That's May the 30th, and the 450 class will enjoy live coverage at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 6 p.m. out west. That's live coverage of the 450 class in Hangtown next Saturday. Or stick to AllySports.com all week for all the updates in the series for everyone here at the RacerX Motocross Show on AllySports.com. I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.